Hey, what's going on there, YouTubers? Edgemans and a job come to you guys here today with another booster box opening. So, today we have a box of Return to Ravnica that we're going to be opening on up. It's brought to you by abugames.com, so please be sure to check them out. And this is the third box of Return to Ravnica that we're opening up on the channel. So if you guys missed the previous openings or any of the other booster boxes that I've opened up on the channel, there is a link down below in the description where you guys can check out a playlist with all the booster boxes that I've opened previously. So, with this box, we're going to open it on up and just take a look at the rares and the foils. So, I'm going to take off this shrink wrap and get to it. Alright, so that's kind of weird. This one didn't come with a flyer. That's really weird. I mean, most of them usually come with that flyer that you get, I don't know, it might be at the bottom of it. Oh, that's kind of weird. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be doing this box from columns from top to bottom and then left to right. So I'm going to start off with this one, then go to the middle, then to the right one. So any of you guys that are trying to map the set, you can use this box as a reference or even as help to figuring out the packing pattern to the set. So we're going to start off here with the first pack. It's kind of weird that they didn't include that flyer. They pretty much have it in every box. No foil out of this pack. And we have a Corpse Jack Menace as our rare. So doubling up the +1/+1 counters as they are put onto a creature. They get double instead, which is awesome with the scavenge mechanic. Alright, out of this one, don't have a foil out of this pack either. We have a Growing Ranks, so at the beginning of your upkeep, populate. Awesome for Selesnya. And we have an Assassin token, which is cool, which goes along with Vraska. Alright, so we do have a foil out of this one. And we have a Niv Magus Elemental, however you guys want to pronounce it. You can exile a instant or sorcery you control and put 2 +1/+1 counters on them. And then we have a Shiny Forest and really beautiful artwork. Really in love with the artwork for this set. And the basic lands, I'm really thrilled to get foil versions of them. No foil out of this one. And we have a Pithing Needle, so good for sideboards. As it enters the battlefield, name a card, and activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Fairly useful for sideboards. We have a foil out of this one. And we have Martial Law as our rare here. If we can get some focus, there we go. So at the beginning of your upkeep, detain target creature and opponent controls. Really, really good for limited. And we have a nice and shiny Cyclonic Rift. So sweet. Such a sweet card. Overload for 7, return all non-land permanents you don't control to their owner's hand, and just the regular casting cost is 1 generic and 1 blue, and return target non-land permanent. But so sick. Absolutely sick because I actually use that card in control. So I'm going to actually have some use out of a foil version of it. Alright, so no foil out of this one. And we have a Supreme Verdict, so can't be countered, destroy all creatures for 4 mana. Good for constructed and limited as well. No foil. And we have a Temple Garden. So nice Selesnya Shockland. And we have a foil out of this one. And we have a Necropolis Regent, so it's a 6/5 for 6 mana, flying. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Really sick vampire. And then we have a foil Doorkeeper. So just a common. Even still, it's a foil. And it looks really nice. They really did a good job with the foiling process on this set. Wasn't really too huge on the foils from like sets like Innistrad. And another foil out of this pack. And the reason why is because during Innistrad they did a different process for foiling them, and they were just kind of testing that out. We have a Precinct Captain, so 2/2 for 2 mana, first strike. Whenever he deals combat damage to a opponent, you get a 1/1 White Soldier creature token. And we have a shiny Soul Teeth. So really awesome. Enchant non-land permanent at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted permanents controller. And at the beginning of their upkeep, they have to pay mana cost equal to the converted mana cost of the card that's enchanted, or they have to sacrifice it. So really awesome uncommon for limited. No foil out of this one. And we have a Grave Betrayal, so good for EDH enchantment, 7 cost. Whenever a creature you don't control dies, return it to the battlefield under your control with an additional +1/+1 counter at the beginning of the next end step. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Awesome. I think we have 2 more packs including this one. No foil. Hypersonic Dragon. 4/4 for 5. Flying haste. You can cast sorcery cards at a instant speed. Well, as though they had flash. No foil out of this one either. In the last pack in the first column here, we have Archon of the Triumvirate. So 4/5 for 7 flying. Whenever it attacks, detain up to 2 target non-land permanents. And a just absolutely awesome looking goblin. Alright, so starting on the second column here. No foil. We have Collective Blessing, so 6 cost. Creatures you control get +3/+3. Awesome for token type builds. We have a Righteous Authority, so enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each card in its controller's hand, and at the beginning of your draw step you get to draw an additional card. So we have a foil out of this pack. And we have Pack Rat, so power and toughness equal to the number of rats you control, and for 3 mana, 2 generic, 1 black, discard a card, put a token that's a copy of Pack Rat onto the battlefield. And we have a V2 Ghazi Guildmage. So really awesome artwork and nice shininess to it. We have a Lol Troll, the Lotleth Troll, so 2/1 for 2 mana trample. You can discard a creature card and put a +1/+1 counter on him, and he regenerates for 1 black. Extremely good for limited, and also constructed playable. No foil. And we have Niv Mizzet, Draco Genius, so 5/5 for 6 mana, flying. And whenever he deals damage to a player, draw a card, and for 2 mana, one blue, 1 red. He deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Awesome mythic. You have a foil. And our rare is Carnival Hellsteed, 5/4 for 6 mana. First strike, haste, and unleash. Incredibly good for limited. And a foil Terra Swarm. So that Terra Swarm got all the scavenge. We have a Detention Sphere, which is an awesome rare. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-land permanent not named Detention Sphere and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. So it's like an Oblivion Ring, only it gets rid of all copies of the said card that you're trying to exile. So tokens and, I don't know, if your opponent has multiple copies of a said card. We have a Chromatic Lantern, so 3 cost lands you control have they tap for any 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and the Chromatic Lantern itself taps for any mana of any color. Alright, so we have Azor's Illocutors, so the filibuster dudes. If whenever you have 5 or more filibuster counters on the Illocutors, you win the game, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a counter on them, and then anytime you take damage, you have to remove a counter from them. So definitely a fun kitchen table type of card. No foil. And we have Dreadbore, awesome, because I actually needed some of these. So destroy target creature or planeswalker for 2 mana. And we have 2 packs left in the second column here. And do we have a foil? Yes, we do. Nice. Lots of foils in this box. And we have Mana Bloom as our rare. So that still goes up here. And we have a nice and shiny Dramatic Rescue. So return target creature to its owner's hand, and you gain 2 life. And our last pack here of the second column. No foil. And we have a Sphinx's Revelation, so nice. It's like Blue Sun Zenith, but it's X mana, 1 blue, or 1 white and double blue. You gain X amount of life and draw X amount of cards, and it's an instant speed card, which is awesome. So that is the second column. Now we are going to go to the third. So we have another foil here. Geez, a lot of foils out of this box. Sphinx of the Chimes, so flying 5/6 for 6, discard 2 non-land cards with the same name and draw a card. So the ability isn't really that amazing, but it's still a really good card for limited. And we have Aerial Predation, so destroy target creature with flying, you gain 2 life. Nice and shiny. But I mean, the Sphinx is still good for limited because he has flying and he's a 5/6 for 6. And let's see. No foil. We have a Blood Crypt, so a shock land here, giving us black or red. No foil. And we have a Search the City. So a really huge and elaborate way to take an extra turn in Standard. We have Dead Bridge Galat, so 5/5 for 4, Scavenge for 6. Really powerful creature for that amount of mana. And we have Palisade Giant, so 2/7 for 6. Any damage that would be dealt to you or another permanent you control is dealt to the Giant instead. And we have Wild Beastmaster here, so 1/1 for 3 mana. Whenever it attacks, each other creature you control gets +X/+X until the end of the turn, where X is Wild Beastmaster's power. And we have a Firemind's Foresight. So search your library for an instant card with converted mana cost 3. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then repeat the process for converted mana cost 2 and 1. And it's a 7-cost spell. I don't know, I'm not huge on that card really. I guess maybe EDH if anything. No foil. And we have a Havoc Festival, so 6 cost, players can't gain life at the beginning of each player's upkeep. That player loses half of his or her life rounded up. We have a Desecration Demon, so he is a 6/6 for 4 mana, flying at the beginning of each combat. Any opponent may sacrifice a creature, and if they do, they get to tap down the Desecration Demon, and he gets a +1/+1 counter. We have Luxodon Smiter, so 4/4 for 3, can't be countered. If he's discarded by an opponent's spell or ability, you get to put him onto the battlefield. So no foil out of this pack. And we have Conjured Currency, so at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exchange control of Conjured Currency with a target permanent that you neither own nor control. And we have our last pack here out of the box, so we'll see just what we get. Overall, I think fairly decent box, pretty average, I would say. Nothing way too over the top. Two shock lands, which I think the usual is probably like 3 shock lands per box, somewhere around there, but still some useful cards that I'm gonna see some play with. And no foil out of this one, and we'll see what our final rare here is. And it is a Death's Presence. So it is a 6 cost. Whenever a creature you control dies, put X amount of +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the power of that creature that died. So, not a real huge way to end off on this box, but still, we got a lot of foils out of this box, so, I mean, you just kind of have to weigh the outcome at the end. But Lots of awesome stuff. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe for more Magic the Gathering content. And check out abugames.com. Their link is down below where you guys can do so. But until next time, guys, have a wonderful, fun-filled Magic the Gathering day.